Hi everyone, I'm Jane Applegath and welcome to the Epic Vision Zone. Our goal with this show and company is to bring you trailblazing women from around the globe to share their ideas, their knowledge, resources, and inspiration to help you transform your dreams into epic success. Today's epic female entrepreneurs are Vitina Blumenthal and Lesley Nimmo. With degrees in advertising, graphic design, certifications in mindfulness and yoga, these multi-passionate entrepreneurs are the founders of AlignCreativeMinds. A boutique brand consultancy, AlignCreativeMinds is where this dynamic duo has grown a business that has so far created over 60 plus brands ranging from mainstream to the wellness industry, helping yoga studios and coaches and nutritionists to brand their companies and training programs and so much more. From creating a DIY logo, curating a color palette, and how to create the ultimate customer journey to build a brand identity that doubles your income, Vitina and Lesley will show you how to design a life and business making money doing work you love. As these two epic female entrepreneurs put it, we help our clients overcome imposter syndrome and build more confidence in their business, increase their income, get their dream clients, and most importantly, create a positive impact in their clients' lives. As two wellness-loving creatives and graphic designers, their mission is to help soulfulpreneurs gain the confidence they need to become credible sources in their industry, expand their online presence, and boost revenue, ultimately creating a positive and transformational impact on their clients' lives and in the world. Welcome, Vitina and Lesley.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's great to be here.
I'm happy to have you, and I have to say I've met these two wonderful ladies through Instagram because their posts are so inspiring and so knowledgeable. I just had to reach out and get them on the show. So, and they're coming from my hometown, my original hometown of Toronto, Canada. So I'm so pleased to have you. You were both graduates from the Ontario College of Art and Design, and each of you took different paths. Tell our audience a little bit about your journeys and how you've come together.
For sure. So a little bit about my journey from when we kind of both finished school. I went on to travel for a little bit, kind of decompress, and then I came back. I had finished a degree in graphic design, so super focused in branding and all that kind of stuff. And basically, I came back to actually a career in advertising, which I wasn't exactly expecting. And Jane, I know from your background, you know a little bit about that world as well. And it was a very great opportunity to work with a lot of creative leaders in the industry, but I did find myself at a certain point a little bit starved for creativity and also very burnt out. It's like a 75, 80-hour work week. And yeah, I just started to have like health complications, and I was starting to feel fearful that I wasn't going to be able to do what I loved anymore. And so I had been freelancing in the evenings and the weekends, which probably didn't help with the burnout situation. And and then I made Vitina's very familiar with this phase of my life as we stayed very close friends throughout this whole process. Thanks for sticking with me. And
my pleasure.
Yeah, so I actually, thank you. I took the leap to, just open up my world to see, when I allowed more space for these freelance clients that I felt really aligned with, what could happen. And so I left kind of my career. I had thought about, would I want to keep going the corporate side? Do I want the job of my superiors? And it didn't sit with me. It didn't feel like I was in alignment with that. And so I started serving small businesses, and it was like such an amazing experience. I got to help people cultivate their their business plan and their strategy, and of course the aesthetic and their brand and everything from the ground up. And it was really cool to, it's more tangible that way, if that makes any sense. You just really see the impact that it has on these individuals. And so I became, very addicted to this, and also was fortunate enough to freelance with agencies as well to work on those big campaigns still. And then this is kind of where we're going to segue into Vitina's story. But basically, V and I, we were having dinner one night and we're like, we really want to do something together. That we had reached a point in our careers where we kind of, I won't say plateaued by any means, because we're always learning, but the capacity to help more people was hitting a ceiling. And it was sort of like, how do you scale your business and keep helping more people with a greater impact? And so, lucky for me, Vitina asked me if I would like to join her with her amazing company, Align, that she had founded a few years prior.
Wonderful.
And now we're here today.
And I guess maybe that's where I need to pipe in.
Yeah.
But so my journey was a little bit different. I had started actually freelancing in the music and entertainment industry while I was in university at OCAD. And during that time, I ended up interning, but also having a scholarship. So when it came to fourth year, I had been working between full-time thesis and also full-time pretty much job in the industry. I was working 80 plus hours a week. And, one day I found myself going to an event, and long story short, I ended up losing it on a poor taxi driver. And I remember leaving that taxi cab and thinking, oh my gosh, like I am so out of alignment. Like this is not right. So it was that moment. We had just graduated. It was a few months after graduation that this happened. And I ended up signing up for a yoga teacher training in India. And I'm like, okay, this is going to solve all my problems. And I ran away and I went to India. I was there for about 2 months, went to an ashram there, did my yoga teacher training. And by the end of that training, my mind had calmed down so much. And my teacher had said to me, oh my goodness, Vitina, you are so calm and so relaxed. When you first got here, I was scared of you. And keep in mind, there was a little bit of a language barrier, but I knew exactly what he meant. It was, I was very reactive. I was in this chaotic phase of my life, and I ended up leaving the ashram, but I knew in that moment that I wanted to take people on these transformational experiences. I wanted to help people heal themselves, even though I was not an expert in that whatsoever at this point. Fast forward a few years, I'd done a lot of traveling, and I had launched my first wellness retreat company. And at the time, it was more of a tech startup, and then it ended up being my own retreats. And then fast forward a few more years, it was 2016, and I ended up partnering this woman who I met in India when I went back, and we started a wellness travel company as well that worked specifically with hotels. So for up until about 2019, I had been running all these retreats, and through that period, I had always done my creative business. So when I came back from India the first time was kind of when Align was actually born. And I remember coming up with the name Align because it had to do with alignment in design. And when everything's aligned in design, everything looks harmonious and it looks beautiful to the eye. And as well, it had another meaning, it being in alignment with your purpose and with your passion. And when you're in alignment with that, things seem to just flow, right? So that had always been running, and that had always been like I don't want to call it bread and butter, that I didn't love the business, but my attention had gone to more of these wellness businesses that I was running. But in that time, I was running 3 businesses. I was so overworked, like to my own fault. And I found myself in burnout many times. And then, once 2020 hit, the world changed, obviously, and retreats weren't necessarily a thing. And I kind of took that as like a universal sign that I needed to slow down and let go of those businesses for now. And that even prior to this happening, Lesley, that's when Lesley and I had that conversation. So we really took it seriously and decided, we need to really join forces and make a larger impact. And I knew it was really important for me, like still that mission of helping people heal themselves. But I realized that my skill, my passion is being creative and design, but the way that I could still fulfill that mission was helping these healers, helping people in the wellness space, in the spirituality space, to help heal others. And in that, with design, we know we can actually help heal more people than just thinking I'm responsible for that healing. So it's been like a really magical process working with Lesley and being able to serve these wellness and spiritual entrepreneurs. We like to call them soulful or soulpreneurs. Soulpreneurs. And that kind of brings us to where we are today. That was my long journey to get to where I am now.
That is an incredible story. I love it. I got into yoga as well because of other issues, but certainly it was the same reason, because of the stress and chaotic, whatever was happening at that time in my life. And when you're ready for that, it really does have an incredible effect on you, and when you see that transformation yourself, I can feel that you just want to share it with everyone else, because it really is powerful. And going from, the teaching aspect in the retreats to the branding and helping those individuals who actually have that as a business lift themselves up, that's fabulous. I can certainly understand the passion. And I love the line, the name Align. Oh my gosh. That is exactly what needs to happen, not just in your branding, but in your life. Like they say that everything, yes, if you're not in alignment with your values, for starters, you will not feel comfortable doing what you're doing. If you're not in alignment with your purpose, if you're not in alignment, it's the perfect name. It absolutely is. And later on, I need to ask you what you said to the cabbie, because I was just like, what did she do? I was just so curious. I was like, wow, she must have gone off on the poor guy. But we'll leave that for another day. But yeah,
we'll have a glass of wine for that one.
I have a very active imagination. So I was like, okay, I want to know what happened in that cab drive that changed her. And she took off to India. Okay. Well, we won't get into that. But anyway, thank you for those stories. It's so insightful. And we often hear, going full circle, that entrepreneurs should know their why. And we're coming back to that alignment. Why did you both decide to join forces and drive into entrepreneurship? You both had other, I feel that Vitina, you're more of a serial entrepreneur, but you did have your other positions. And Lesley, you came from a corporate job, overworked. Gosh, haven't we all been there? Underpaid, no doubt, and certainly not in alignment. But so tell our audience the why for you two. I kind of have a feeling we've touched on that, but also how vital that is when you're helping individuals with their branding.
For sure. So, Vitina, feel free to chime in at any time. I guess, so we both felt the experience of the freedom of working for yourself and how much you can kind of stick to your values, what you're setting out to do, the kind of clients that you want to work with. And also you have the space to design a life for yourself that you really want. And I really noticed that after, being able to run my freelance company for like 6 years. It was extremely empowering and I could get my health back and everything. So with that, Vitina, my kind friend who's always looking out for the best in me, she had encouraged me to go to one of her retreats, and then the self-discovery journey sort of starts and you start to realize how helpful these people are, as Vitina had said. And so we wanted to help them get out there and spread their message and help more people. And so we wanted to help them align their purpose to their brand.
Yeah. And really at the end of the day, it's our why is about making a bigger impact on the world and realizing that we can't do it all by ourselves. And by tapping into this community, we're going to be able to make a larger impact through our gifts and our skills at the end of the day.
Yes, I could see that. I love that insight, because that is something that I believe you help entrepreneurs unpack. And we often think, well, we know our why, but then when you start to ask your clients, it really is not the surface. It's, you have to go deep, like 5 to 7 layers to get them to that real heart core why, because that's what's going to wake you up in the morning, right? That's what's going to help you help them create their brand. So yeah, that's that is one of the big questions that I think that entrepreneurs can use your assistance in, and help them move forward in their true purpose. And speaking of purpose, you say that align your purpose with your brand. So how does an entrepreneur do that? Because let's say you've unpacked the why and you've got the purpose, but now there's that point where you've got your purpose and your brand. And I often see it, I don't know, probably you do too, where you have a brand, but it's not aligning with their purpose. So just give us some insight into how you do that, how you align your purpose with your brand.
Well, first, when you align your purpose with your brand, this helps amplify your message. So, we come across a lot of people in the spiritual and wellness space that think branding is inauthentic, but when it's done right, it can be very aligned and really help you reach a lot more people. So in turn, when your purpose and your brand are aligned, this helps you align your purpose with profits, and to build a business that you love doing every day and waking up to every day. You're able to make an income, you're able to help serve at a larger scale. So getting in touch with your skills is one of the first things that you need to do, because often, think about what people are asking you for on a regular basis. This is a really good indicator of what you're really good at. And then you want to think about what you're actually passionate about. Although we do have a coach and a mentor that's like, you got to minus passion from this, because sometimes your passions are better off as hobbies, so you enjoy it a little bit more. But going back to, and you could argue that both ways, but really, if you can combine skills and passions, that's amazing. But then thinking about how those skills and passions can really serve others. And now serving others is a key component to any successful business, because you want to be able to be providing them with a solution, to their desires, to their struggles, whatever they're going through right now. If you can really support them along that journey, then you do have a very aligned purpose at the end of the day, because you're able to actually serve others through what you're doing. So with what we do, aligning your purpose and brand is really just helping you amplify what that message is and how you can serve others and attract the right clients at the end of the day.
Love it. Love it. It's a light bulb moment, because what I heard was, when you align your purpose with your brand, you create profits. That's because you said
and profits.
Yes, purpose and profits. Yes, I love it. Give us an idea. What is branding? What is we talk about it, we hear about it, we know that we need to know it, but really from two experts, how do you identify branding? What does it mean to you?
Les, do you want me to answer that, or do you want to answer that?
Oh, you can go for it for sure.
No, I think there's a little bit of a lag here, but you were going to answer it. Go ahead.
So a big myth with branding is that your brand is your logo, and sometimes as well your color palette and your fonts. But a mentor of ours once said, a brand is an image that is formed in the mind and a feeling that resides in the heart of anyone who comes into contact with it. So it's the reputation that your brand has in the minds and hearts of others. And what we like to teach is all the inner workings of the brand so that it really resonates and calls to people so they can sense it on every single touch point.
Yeah, and I mean to add on a little bit there, branding, like Les said, is the reputation your brand has in the minds and hearts of others. So when you think about that, depending on how many people you have in your audience, how many clients you have, and I watched a YouTube video on this. I forget the gentleman's name, but he had said it so beautifully. And basically he just expressed that depending on how big your audience is, how many clients you have, this is how many different reputations you have. So if you had millions of clients or millions of customers, you would have millions of reputations in their mind. So depending on how that person interacts with you and your brand, you're making an impression on them. So whether that's in your DMs on Instagram, whether that's a package that gets to their house, whether that's through your follow-up after your one-on-one session, all of these things, like Les was saying about the brand journey and the different touch points that you have with a brand, these little micro touches, I guess you could call them, all add up to your reputation as a brand.
Absolutely. And today we're out there all the time. If we are, purposefully putting our brand and our message and our knowledge out there, we've got platforms now that we didn't have years ago, and they seem to just keep expanding. So yes, branding is so important. We've got not only the social media, we've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and now there's Clubhouse. It just goes on and on. So when you think of what you said, that every single one of those is a touch point, branding is so vital. It really, it is something that first and foremost, after understanding what your why is and your purpose, it's serious. It's serious business if you want to take your business seriously, that's for sure. Yeah. So I love what you said, the explanation of branding. And I have here, branding is the core of business. Now, we just touched a little bit on that. Did you want to expand on that, or do you feel that we've covered that?
No, I think that we did touch on it a little bit in that last description, but your business is how you make money, where your brand is the heart and soul of what you do and the bigger picture. And really, it's all about creating long-term relationships. And Les and I will often make the joke of, like, if you're into ghosting and just like being on, like, swiping on Tinder these days, this is not the type of relationship that we're trying to build here. Branding is really this development of long-term relationships with your audience and your clients.
Absolutely. Yes. It's about building that connection. It's that, like you said, it's the heartfelt connection. And that's the one that will become your raving fans. Those are the ones that will become the ones that will spread the word about you and send you referrals because they had that connection with you. Oh yeah. I mean, for me, that was just like, oh yeah, this is like, I know branding's important, but you are explaining it in a much better and more eloquent way, and the core of why it is so important. So what are the fundamental components that an entrepreneur needs to create a successful brand?
That's a great question. So we actually like to break it down into two categories. So we have the internal brand, which we refer to as like your brand therapy, for example. It's all the inner workings and the foundation that makes up everything that you're going to express in your external brand. So your external brand is how this shows up in the world, but you still really need to focus on the internal brand for everything to seem aligned and authentic to you. So how we break this down in the internal brand is your why, your mission, your values, your ideal client avatar, who is your MVP and who you should absolutely focus on the first thing after you decide what your vision is. And then we go into what the solution is for your ICA and how your brand personality is and the values. And then once you've figured out all those inner workings, you have the foundation, and now you're building the house. So then that gets into the more visual stuff that everyone's more familiar with, which is the logo, your brand fonts, and your photography, your tone of voice, and then also the brand journey, which we had just discussed a few seconds ago, which is everything that anyone comes into contact before, during, and after they purchase a service or a product from you.
That's fantastic. Was there any other piece that you would like to add, Vitina?
No, I think Les did an awesome job gathering it all. But yeah, the internal brand is probably the biggest miscomponent that most solopreneurs make, or soulpreneurs make, and not focusing on this piece of the puzzle, because this is really, like I said, the foundation of your brand and your business. And if you don't have this foundation really solid, then designing even your logo, picking colors, etc., all these visual components that are, the fun, creative side of branding, and they are a piece of the puzzle, but you might actually be deterring clients because you're not using colors strategically or fonts strategically, and you might be attracting the wrong type of person. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest things that I want to hit home on, is if you are going through this branding process, really take time to do that inner work. I don't know what types of entrepreneurs are watching this summit, but if you are in like any industry, really, if you're a soulpreneur, you're a passionate entrepreneur, doing that inner work for your brand is going to be so helpful for the long term. And even like you said, Jane, really having a clear understanding of your why. And this is going to help you really understand why you're even running this business. And when times get really, really tough, this is what's going to help you get out of bed each day.
Absolutely. I've never heard it put that way, but you are 100% correct, both of you, with that, the internal before the external, because that, like, it's the foundation, but it's also the passion behind what brings you the customers that you're there to attract, because we all have an energy source. And when we're really grounded in why we're doing what we are, and you help individuals walk through that, oh my gosh. I mean, then when it comes to the colors and the fonts and all the fun stuff, you're so grounded in what you want that it's not the, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed by all these things because I'm not sure. No, you know exactly what you want. You say yes, no, right? I mean, that's how I see it. Totally. I feel that once you walk your clients through that, then you're at a stage where, yes, this is it. We know it. And you guys would probably know it too. You go, having worked with you, this is it. Have you ever had that happen where you get the aha and you go, yes, this is it? I mean, I could see that happen. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like we're all in alignment here and we got it. So, but that takes time. That takes digging. You know, it's like finding the buried treasure. And once you find that buried treasure, you're like, woohoo, now we're on the road to profits and business, right? Wow, that's sure. Fantastic.
Go ahead. And even like, even though, you would think, you need to hire a brand strategist or a designer to help you with this process. You, at the end of the day, know your business, know your brand more than any designer. And, we were talking about this actually in a podcast interview just the other day. And, at the end of the day, we can make stuff up for you and help you get clearer and clearer, but you need to be connected with that. And if you're not connected with that, then it's going to be really hard to continue going. It might last a little bit, and you might hit the nail on the head on our end. But really, a big part of our journey and why we came together is because we wanted to help empower entrepreneurs and solopreneurs to do this process themselves.
Right. And you almost have to if you're going to be successful. What I envision it is if you don't go through this process, what it's like is having your book cover designed and you open it up and the pages are blank. So you've got the presentation, but there's nothing inside because you haven't done the work,
Totally.
right?
That's a
So
great
anyway,
metaphor.
I love it. Yeah, use it. I mean, that's how I saw it. I was like, yeah, it's like having the book cover designed for you and then opening it up and there's nothing inside because you didn't do the work to find out what's on the inside. So yeah, that's so powerful. Oh my gosh. So to establish a brand identity, name 3 key questions an entrepreneur should ask.
Les, do you
So
want to do
Either
that
of you?
one?
you could ask, oh, sorry. So
That's
to
okay.
establish great brand identity, a few questions that you could ask are, why am I doing this? Who am I serving? How am I serving them? Which is your solution? So those are our 3 like hero core questions.
Okay. So why am I doing this, you said?
Yes.
Refresh my memory. What was it? Why,
Why, who, and how or what?
how, or what? Okay. And so
Mhm.
can we unpack those just a little?
Sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of times for especially, purpose-driven, soulfulpreneurs, a lot of the time they might be a couple years ahead of the person they're trying to serve. So they
Mm,
are really clear in why they're doing this and what their vision is for what they want to put out into the world. And then who, as I just mentioned, is the person that they really want to serve. And then um, sorry.
that's okay.
um, so basically, it's who's the person that you want to spend all of your time with, that you want to have 100 more of, that you love working with. So this might be someone who you've worked with in the past and you want to attract more of these clients, or it might be someone who you dream of serving, who you think would really resonate with your services that you're creating for them. And then how is, what is your service or product offering, and what is the struggle that your ICA, your ideal client avatar, is going through, that you're going to provide the solution to help make their lives easier and help support them on their journey.
Right. The pain points. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And this all takes work. This is something that you can try and do it on your own. But frankly, it's like everybody has time constraints. We all have busy days, routines that keep us busy. We need someone to come in, like you even say that you have a coach. All of us need some help, and especially entrepreneurs, because solopreneurs, especially because we're juggling so many balls, that this type of work helps you get focused on what your brand needs to be. And that's why it's so vital to hire professionals that can help you, because we all want to do it on our own, but let's face it, being a solopreneur is like you've got so many balls to juggle. And if someone can keep you focused on what you need to be focused on in that moment in order to elevate your business, then that comes back to you tenfold, 20-fold in the future, as opposed to trying to struggle, or you, like you said, just take a little course here that tells you, oh, like we can design the beautiful colors for you. Let's do a pretty logo. And then you're like, well, now what? Or down the road, it doesn't even align with what you're actually selling or coaching, et cetera, et cetera. So talking about pain points, because we always talk about pain points are the challenges that we're trying to help our clients overcome or address for our clients. What about you guys? You guys have a business, and this is just your opportunity to tell our audience the exact challenges and or pain points that you help them overcome. I know we've talked about branding, and I know we've talked about, the touch points and whatnot, but tell us the pain points that you help clients overcome and why they would want to sign up with you guys.
Well, I know that a lot of what we were talking about was more focusing on the how, but I would say for us, there's 3 common things that we really see with soulpreneurs and soulful entrepreneurs. And I would say the first pain point is a lot of them have all of these ideas, and they don't really know what to do with them. They're not very clear on what idea to focus on, really, at the end of the day. The second one is really knowing how to align their skills, like kind of what we were talking about with aligning your purpose with profits at the beginning. It's really just knowing how to align your skills and who to align them with. So who are you serving? Who are those dream clients that you're serving? And the third biggest thing that we often see is a lot of these entrepreneurs don't really know how to grow their online presence, and they don't know how to get themselves out there online. And we've heard this many times. They're like, I just want step by step, tell me what to do and I'll do it. But I think with like what we were saying at the beginning, Jane, you were saying all of these social platforms now, and it's like, do I go on all of them? Do I go on one of them? How many should I be on? And really, at the end of the day, there's a prescription for each individual person, depending on what your goals are, where your clients are, and also what medium you really enjoy using the most. So, I would say Instagram is a no-brainer. They keep just, taking over a lot of different social platforms, but there's different ways that you can tap into different platforms online as well. So I would say those would be like the biggest three things that we see, is just not knowing how to get more clients, gain more awareness for their business, not knowing who they're serving or what to really focus on.
Yeah, those are terrific, because I know so many individuals that you're right. They have an idea, they want to do a business, but they love everything, or they don't have that focus or that niche. And, we hear it over and over again, you want to have a niche, you want to have a focus, because when you put something out there and you confuse the buyer, they buy nothing. Mm-hmm. So if you're a jack of all trades, they're like, well, I don't need that, but I kind of need this. But, oh, you know what? I'll come back and I'll maybe look at it later, but maybe not. Yeah. So that is on its own is so vital and so useful for individuals who are making that leap, or even actually who have an established business and are finding a struggle going from one level to scale their industry, because they started one place, but now they've realized that, oh, well, this is where my clients are taking me. This is what they're asking for. So yeah, those are so important. And thank you for sharing that. So what's your policy when recommending marketing initiatives, and name a few that you like?
Ooh. Les, do you want to answer that one, or do you want me to?
I know you guys told me earlier that you don't recommend anything that you don't try yourselves. So for me,
no,
that's
definitely
your policy.
Not.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that is huge.
So yeah, definitely. And, that was a big thing for us, whether it's through our courses or whatever we're promoting on social. We do try and promote things that we've tested and that we've tried along the way. And Les, pipe in if you can think of anything else. But I would say, in terms of marketing initiatives that we love, that we see the most fruitful, would be definitely growing your email list. I'm sure you've probably heard that many, many times, but having an email list is so key. Social media is borrowed land. It's not your land and can be taken away from you at any point. So, or the algorithm will change, and we all know what that's like. So I would say having that as your core strategy. And then for us, we love using YouTube as one of our main options for creating valuable content, for people listening. And, I've had a podcast before in the past. I've put that on pause while we're working on our business, but podcasting is another great option if you prefer just speaking. So if you are more of a coach, you might not need visual, but Lesley and I, we do need visual. We're designers, and sometimes we need to be able to show things, right? And then on the other hand, you might be great at blogging. So depending on what kind of medium you like, I would definitely recommend focusing on one of those core mediums, depending on what fits your needs. You don't need to do all of them. And then through that, you can now create content on different social platforms. So we'll usually take that one piece of content, promote that through Instagram, promote that through LinkedIn, through Pinterest. Les, am I missing anything else?
No, you're doing a great job. I was like getting ready to say the next point and the next point, and you're hitting them all. So keep going.
Okay, good. Keep going.
Yeah.
But those and Facebook. Okay, yeah, and Facebook. And another way to really, really amplify like that one piece of content is breaking it down into micro pieces of content and promoting it multiple times in that week with a call to action to go visit that to whatever that piece of content is, to your website or YouTube or your podcast. And for us, an added layer, this is a way bigger layer, unless we were talking about this the other day, we're like, holy guacamole, how are we doing all of this for one video? But for each of our YouTube videos, we include a lead magnet. So if you're not familiar with a lead magnet is an item like a checklist, an ebook, a meditation, a 30-minute yoga class, whatever it is that someone is signing up for. So they're exchanging their email and their name for this piece of content. So each of our YouTube videos have a lead magnet attached to it. So no matter what, who's ever organically finding these YouTube videos, we're consistently gathering emails. And emails like from months back, we're not even really promoting those same videos. So, YouTube is the second largest search engine next to Google, and Google owns YouTube. So that was also part of our strategy.
Beautifully put. I love it. You're absolutely right. Oh my gosh, these girls really know their stuff. I'm telling you, lead magnets are everything. It's great to post on social media. We all need to be there because we need the visibility. We want to become the influencers. But I love what you said, that's borrowed land. I've never heard that, and I love it. I'm going to use it all the time now because it is. They own the emails, they own the contacts. You're helping their business grow. But what you can do is use it as a vehicle to get your lead magnet in front of them, so then you can start to build your email list, because that in the virtual world is your business asset, is those email lists. That is what all of those platforms are after. Every one of them, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, they want email addresses. And by us posting content, it's helping them grow. But we can use that to help us grow when we use those lead magnets. So thank you. That was really good information. I hope people walk away with that aha. So don't just put things up there and expect to get all this business from Facebook or YouTube, because you know what? They're not interested in giving you the business. They want it for themselves, but it doesn't mean you can't use them to get yours. So I love it. Right. That's fantastic. So how do you help entrepreneurs find their dream clients? Now I love that question, because we can all attract people here and there, but it's that dream client that we really want.
That's a great question. So, of course, with your strategy behind creating a brand that attracts your dream client, we go into a lot of the psychology of, okay, what colors and what palette and what fonts are going to signal to them that you're the right practitioner or service provider for them. But we also do a ton of research. So in one of the first processes of developing your ideal client, you have to call, Vitina and I are actually doing this currently. We're calling 50 people and asking them all these really tough questions around, what are you struggling with? And that's related to what we want to offer, but it's getting super clear on what they're struggling with, what they're like just needing support on, because design is very broad in our example, but we're finding a lot of people are struggling specifically with social media. So how do you create an offer that's just calling directly to that dream client, so that when there's a sea of the same and tons of different options out there, all wonderful for sure, how do you let your client know that you actually almost created this exactly for them? And then following the way that you communicate and present your offer, it's also going out and finding your dream clients too. And we do this a lot with our Instagram page and with our YouTube content. We're strategically figuring out, okay, we want to help teach our ideal client how to build their business and their brand. So where are they looking for this, and who are they already engaging with? So that's why we go to YouTube, because if they want to know, how do I use Canva? Hey, like, we're here, we're going to help you. Like, we're going to show you based off of, keyword searches and strategy around SEO. And then also it's looking at accounts that have similar dream clients as you, and going and engaging with those people. So you can go into a post, see who's active, who's engaging, who's commenting and liking the picture. And then what you do is you go to their account and you engage with them. You leave genuine comments. We're not for that follow, unfollow type of business. We want people to know that we feel somewhat of a connection with them for sure off the get-go, and then they can check out our page and they can follow us if they want to. We're not going to, do that sort of tap on, tap off sort of strategy, but it's worked really well because social media, it gives you, access to connect with so many people. So the more you share of yourself and high value, the more your ideal client is going to get a flavor of who you are and feel really connected and trusting towards you and your brand and what you have to offer them.
That's an excellent piece of advice, because, and it's a lot of, it takes legwork. So we'll be honest, This takes work. It's not something that you get hired and then it's like, oh yeah, my brand's done and my dream client is here at my fingertips. And no, it takes work. But ambitious female entrepreneurs know that. I mean, that's, if you're going to be an owner of your own company and be an influencer and make a difference in the world. But when you know that it's something that you're passionate about, I mean, this is where the shift comes in, because you two are making a difference by helping others make a difference. I mean, that's how I see it. And when you say that you're contacting all these individuals to find out where their pain points are, that is so vital, because a lot of entrepreneurs will build a program. You've probably seen this, where they've come to you and they say, but I got this great program. It took me a year to build out. And I know that everybody's going to love it because I built it and it's my knowledge. And you're like, but have you surveyed your clients? Have you surveyed your potential clients? Do you think that's sometimes, that's the cart before the horse? And it's so vital. And but I love that you're doing that. You're reaching and you're actually contacting these individuals, which is nowadays really unheard of. A lot of people like to hide in the background, but that is so important. It's true. I don't know if you found that, but they're like, oh, I'll just see if they want me on Instagram or something. But you've got to reach, and sometimes you got to do it a couple of times, right? I mean, it's
well,
not
even
go ahead.
Even if you're doing this and you get rejected, never take it personally, because it has nothing to do with you. And don't let those no's of you doing this research. And probably one of the most strategic ways you could position this is saying, hey, I really trust your opinion on something I'm working on. Most people will be like, oh, like, I want to talk, like, this person really trusts my opinion. They're going to want to share whatever wisdom they might be able to offer and help you. But we've done the strategy of reaching out cold. We've reached out in Facebook groups. We've reached out to people that have gone through our programs before, or Facebook groups. So there's many ways that you can start doing this research. And we have to do 50 interviews in our program. So even though we're even a couple years in now, we're still doing this research to make sure that our product is still aligned and is best aligned with our clients. And even, another way that you could tap into, like, this is more of like attracting your dream client, but similar to what we're doing with you, Jane, it's like tapping into other people's audiences. So if you do know, we worked with a nutritionist that is a preconception coach, and she wants to position herself on mom blogs. Like a podcast that's in our 30s or something along those lines, because she focuses on women who are in their 30s and are trying to get pregnant. So there's different ways that you can start positioning yourself to attract the right people. We worked with Lisa Simone Richards, and she helped us really learn how to tap into other people's audiences as well. I wouldn't say we're experts on that, but that is another strategy that you could go.
Yeah, I love it. It's really, there's so many different ways, but that's why we need to at least speak with or tap into the experts, because we don't need to be trying to research this and doing it all ourselves, because as you know, it's a full-time job, and that's why you have your business. So, absolutely go out and help it. Those are great tips. I love it. Well, I love that you guys have given us so much information here, and I would want you to let our audience know about your free bootcamp offer, because you told me what it was, and I just think it's fabulous. So let our audience know how you unfold this and what it pertains to.
Yeah, absolutely. So our free 6-day brand bootcamp is for solopreneurs or soulpreneurs who are maybe just starting their business or looking to grow their business. So through these 6 days, you're going to learn 6 effective strategies to start and grow your business. And the beauty of this free bootcamp is that we try to make this super interactive for the people that are in the program. So you can be as interactive as you want, really, at the end of the day. But we do have a private Facebook group as you go through this process, where we go live every Friday to answer your questions, to give you critiques, to give you any feedback for anything that you're struggling with along this branding journey. And it is probably one of our favorite things to do with people. So we hope that you do enjoy it.
Yes, when you told me about the boot camp, I was like, oh my God, well, I have to sign up for it myself for sure. Because I love the fact that, you not only get individuals to participate, but you give so much great information. And, that's one of the issues that a lot of us, and it introduces you to people who may or may not want to work with you. So you build the credibility. But who wouldn't want to work with you guys? I mean, I don't know. I just think you're sure you're on the pulse of what's happening in the world today. And you've both got some great background and knowledge, but you're just, your stuff. And I could feel that. It's like I said, I met these two incredible ladies on Instagram, and I loved their posts. So if you want informative posts on Instagram, you have to check them out, because I tell you that you can learn a whole bunch just by looking at their Instagram posts. And I just thought that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now, I would like to ask you both one last question. And if your life were an epic story, what would the title be?
Oh, that is a good question.
I could go.
Yeah, go for it, Les.
Okay. I would say, if it feels tough, but it excites you, go towards it. Maybe that's advice.
No,
that would be my self-discovery book title.
That's a good one.
Scary but exciting. You should try it.
Feel the fear and do it anyway, right?
Love that. On my end, Les, you inspired this through your book title, but it would be probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned on this entrepreneurial journey, which is progress over perfection.
Mm. Mm-hmm. That is so important. Oh my gosh. Imperfect action.
Yeah.
Yes. Progress over perfection, because boy, if you want to, and actually perfection is it's interpreted by everybody differently. I mean, there is no such thing, because what's perfect to you might not look perfect to me or look perfect to whomever, right? So perfect is perception. Perfect is perception. I mean, it's whatever you perceive it to be. A child could come into a room and there could be mess everywhere, and he goes, "It's perfect." You know, it's perfect. A parent comes in and goes, "What are you talking about?" "Well, it's perfect for me." You know? So,
and that's how you find your dream client.
Yeah, your dream client. Yeah, everything's all over. And I would love to thank both of you for being on today and spending your time here with us and sharing all that incredible knowledge and information. And be sure to go to AlignCreativeMinds on the Summit directory, where you will find all of the information to connect with Vitina and Lesley and their boot camp, which everyone should take advantage of. It's more than generous. And once again, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Jane Applegath, and check out how you can become an epic entrepreneur at janeapplegath.com. This is the Epic Vision Zone, transforming your dream into epic success. Congratulations for signing up for the Female Entrepreneur Revolution. We're bringing you some of the most exciting female entrepreneurs from around the globe to share with you their knowledge, their ideas, their inspiration, and more importantly, their resources to elevate you to prosperity and freedom. And by being here, you're on the cusp of something great, your epic future. I'm Jane Applegath, founder of the Epic Vision Zone and producer of the Female Entrepreneur Revolution. Be sure to get your VIP pass and join me after the summit on June 16th for a very special VIP coaching session where we'll have hot seating, summit Q&A, and a special guest appearance by one of our speakers just for you, where we'll ignite your vision, up-level your confidence, and set you on the path to your dreams' epic success. This is your opportunity calling. It's time to take action. Get your VIP pass now. I can't wait to see you on the other side.